What's going on, faithful? It's your boy Mike from the Nothing But Niners crew. We're here to bring you guys our Week 5 edition of Behind Enemy Lines. Our guest today is our first return enemy, which is Sandy. But before I let her speak, I want to let you guys know where to find us. I want to thank you guys for checking us out here on YouTube. If this is your first time here, thank you. Do us a favor and click that subscribe button. Hit the little bell with a notification so you know exactly when we drop videos. Videos like these Behind Enemy Lines are pre-recorded and they are released later on. So you will need to know and have the subscription and the notifications turned on so you know exactly when they go live, okay? If this is not your first time here, we want to thank you for being a return supporter. Check out the website, www.nothingbutniners.com. We have great articles there. We are currently doing a hashtag Ask 49ers segment. So if you guys who are watching this have any questions that you want us writers to answer for you, go ahead and send it to us, okay? We have email that is nothingbutniners@gmail.com. You guys can send it there. You can hit us at nbniners@nothingbutniners.com as well. All right, just let us know that you want to ask us a question. Also, make sure you hit us up on social media. Nothing But Niners is everywhere that you want to be. Nothing But 9ERS is the handle for Twitter as well as Snapchat. And then there's Nothing But Niners on Facebook and Instagram. So you guys, if you're thinking about Niners, we are there. Nothing But Niners /NB Niners. You guys can find us everywhere that you want to be. If you guys are interested in giving me a follow on social media, the best way to do that is on Twitter. My handle is 49ersMike_NF. Whew. Now that's all out of the way. With no further ado, our first return guest, Sandy, how are you? Cardinals fangirl. What's going on?
Hi, I'm so good. Thank you for having me back. What an honor to be the first return. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. You know, and the thing is that we weren't really consistent with this last year, but now we got a little system worked out. I think we're going to be able to do this with some regularity, but I do appreciate you taking the times. I know that you are entrenched in all things Arizona right now. So let everybody know what you're going through over there. I know you've had a hectic day and everything. Just tell us a little bit about yourself right now.
So I'm in the thick of it with baseball, actually. So I work for MLB Network, and I'm on air and I produce. And so I literally got up at 3 in the morning on Monday. I took a 6 a.m. flight to LA for game 163. And now we're, as you can see, the game and back, the NLDS game. I have to keep an eye on where I'm going to be for the World Series. So that is kind of, I was switching between that and Thursday Night Football, getting it all ready. So, and today I had meetings all day long trying to get ready, and Arizona Fall League starts next week too.
Hands full, very, very busy. So again, we here at Nothing But Niners really appreciate your time and stopping just for a few minutes. We're going to keep this quick. We're going to keep this short and sweet, but we do appreciate it. We can't say it enough. Okay. So thank you so much for joining us. All right. So the last time these teams played, it was not pretty. You guys had a different head coach. You guys had a different running back out there. You had Johnson, but he was injured. You had a different quarterback even. Since then, you've been through a couple of quarterbacks. So I'm going to let you catch us up to all of that. Adrian Peterson, I want to start there because the 49ers defense is really, really struggling right now. We're taking a lot of scrutiny. We don't know if it's the coach. We don't know if it's the scheme. We don't know if it's the players. Everyone is all over the place right now. But here's what we do know. The last time the 49ers played the Cardinals, Adrian Peterson had 37 carries, which is a lot of carries for someone at his age at that time. But it paid off. He had 159 yards. He averaged over 4 yards a carry. And they even tossed him the ball twice just for good measure, just to make sure that if you had him in fantasy, he was getting you over the hump there, okay? But a lot has changed, Sandy. So how about you catch us up? I know that you guys have a new quarterback and everything. Break it down for us. What can we expect to see that's going to be different than it was last year?
Everything? No, I'm just kidding. But besides all of it being different, so David Johnson is back, so no AP, of course. Rosen is the chosen Rosen. He is now our quarterback. He is our franchise quarterback. That was confirmed. That was solidified last week in his first career start. So Sam Bradford, no longer. He's actually our third string, so not even sure how that's going to play out. Who else is, so Wilkes is new, of course, our head coach Wilkes is new. Mike McCoy is new. And so I know you said your defensive chemistry is starting, like, is it the play calling? Is it the defense? Is it talent? That's our story on offense with Bradford the last couple of weeks. And a couple of times last week, was it McCoy's play calling, or is it our talent not connecting and there's not chemistry? I am going to go with Mike McCoy play calling, because we have so much talent on the offense. They are just not clicking. David Johnson is not being utilized how he should be utilized. He had, I think 21 yards was his first longest run last week. And that's just ridiculous he was the best running back in the league before he got hurt. So those, I would say, are the biggest changes on offense all around. Our center is our first round draft pick center from this he's our rookie. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but because our veteran center got hurt. So now it's Mason Cole, and he is our center. So that's another new face on offense.
So you guys have a new rookie center. You guys have a rookie quarterback. You guys are trying to get the kinks worked out with this offense and everything. But, there's also your head coach. But before we get to that, I do want to respond with everything that you were saying, talking about the offense clicking. And that's exactly what we're going through here on defense. We have a ton of injuries. You're talking about your offensive lineman being injured. Both of our tackles, our rookie right tackle from this season was injured. He is not practicing this week so far. We have our left tackle and the veteran Joe Staley also not practicing this week. And our center, Weston Richburg, who was our big free agent acquisition as far as the offensive lineman goes, also not practicing. So this is something that, these teams are going through it. And listen, let's be honest here. You guys are excited. You guys are fired up about the Rosen one, the chosen one, whatever you guys it is that you're calling him. I've been listening to a couple of podcasts, and I'm hearing some nicknames thrown out there for him. You guys are really excited about him. The Niners are brushing themselves off. We're 1-3 out of the first quarter of the season, but we've played some really, really tough teams. We've played against the Vikings, who are favorites to come out of the NFC. We've played against the Chiefs, who are looking like the favorites to come out of the AFC. And we played against the Chargers, who were a respectable team until all the defensive injuries and things like that. So the Niners are dusting themselves off. Those are the 3 losses that we have. But the defense is a major, major part of it. The quarterbacks have kept us in it. Whether it was Garoppolo or Beathard, both of these guys played well enough to win some of these games, except maybe that Kansas City Chiefs game, which got out to a very rough start, 35-10 in the first half. But nonetheless, the team is trying to bounce back. So here's what I think about this game. I think both of these teams, the Cardinals and the 49ers, are going into this game thinking, here is our rebound game. This is going to be the game where we get things on track. We find out exactly what we have. If we can't do it this week, it's going to be a long season. I think both of these teams are looking at their opponents and saying the same exact thing. Vegas kind of agrees with me right now. We are only 4-point favorites, and you get 3 points for being at home. So it's pretty much a wash right now. We have 0-4 versus 1-3. 49er fans will argue with you and say that, man, we were this close to being 3-1. I know Cardinal fans will say we were this close to being 2-2. So I want to get your thoughts on it. Is this a game that the 49ers actually have to worry about, or are you not as confident as some of the other pundits out there watching and analyzing this team?
I think we're exactly even, just like you were saying, and we're both looking at it, both teams. This is a must win in order for momentum to keep going and getting better. We're looking for our first win, and that is what is the most ridiculous part of it. We're not as afraid of you guys. Well, George Kittle, we're definitely terrified of. But Josh Rosen, even though this will only be his second career start, he's already played at Levi Stadium. I don't know if people understand that, but in college, and I know it's a different atmosphere, NFL, but he's already played in this atmosphere. He's already played in that stadium. He's already played at the Bay Area. So I am not as scared as some people are saying, and I don't agree with Vegas clearly, except for that this is a must-win for both teams, but both teams can't win. That's just it.
You're absolutely right there. So I want to ask you about your head coach right now, because I know this seems a little crazy, but I've been asking myself, what's the identity of the 49ers, right? We know what the identity of the offense is supposed to be. Kyle Shanahan runs very meticulous plays, and he sets things up very early. He'll run a couple of plays in the first half that he's planning on unveiling and doing something different with in the fourth quarter of games and things like that. So he's a very manipulative, mastermind, kind of mad scientist type of offensive coordinator, right? But I was asking the guys in our group chat, what's the identity of this team behind Kyle Shanahan? When we had Jim Harbaugh, we were a physical, aggressive team. We were a ground and pound. We were going to run the ball down your throat. Our offensive linemen are just as big as your defensive linemen, but they're more physical. We're going to ground you up. And our defense, we were bullies. Vic Fangio was here at the time, and we were just bullies, and we were super aggressive and going after it. And you might beat us, but you were going to feel it the next day and for the next next week. That's what we hung our pride on. That's what happened when we had Jim Harbaugh here. With Kyle Shanahan, I can't quite figure out what the offensive identity is, or even the defensive identity, I should say, just the identity as a team. But now that you guys have Wilkes there, you guys have seen him for 4 games so far. What's the identity of the Cardinals? I know you talked about the offensive struggles. How about that defense? I saw that Buchanan actually played linebacker all game last week instead of Gerald Hodges, who was a former 49er. But instead of Hodges getting out there, are you guys moving guys around? Are you still experimenting? I mean, what is there an identity? Is this a physical team? Are they a finesse team? Break it down for us.
They're still figuring it out. Clearly, as we are on offense, they are on defense as well. And the thing that I think that is most interesting and that I absolutely love is Josh Bynes has taken over as a #1 linebacker on our team. And I'm loving that. He's a guy that we got off the streets. He literally off the streets. And so the reason that he is because he can make calls on defense, and he can line the defense up. And a lot of the other guys, Deion Buchanan and Hassan Reddick, have struggled with that. And Josh Bynes is so smart. He's football savvy. He gets it up here. And that's what Wilkes really, 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 really likes. So the fact that Josh Bynes was a nobody, and I just say that in air quotes because he clearly was somebody and he came from somewhere and he has the talent, but we got him off the streets. So it's looking like Wilkes is wanting more leadership, guys who can step up, who have the smarts, just like Josh Rosen is. So his football IQ off the charts. And you're seeing that. So now I see that in Josh Bynes and I'm seeing that in Josh Rosen. So I'm seeing the IQ and the guys that go out there and be leaders on the field. That's really what it's starting. As for if it's a pounding, tough ground, I don't know, because that is just so up in the air. They're still trying to figure out who works together, what works. Mike McCoy has no idea what he's doing, and he is still trying to figure it out. The conservative play calling that he doesn't work with the Cardinals. When he's aggressive and he gets cute with it, actually we do pretty good. So I think McCoy is still figuring it out. Wilkes is still figuring out McCoy and what he's doing. But definitely like that he's using the guys that have the IQ and the leadership on the grass in the game that can keep the guys calm, line them up, put them together, and go.
Yeah. And see, what you're saying is it echoes so much of what's going on here with the 49ers. When Jimmy Garoppolo was in, you expect us to throw the ball a lot and things like that, right? But during Garoppolo's time here, we had the rushing leader in the NFL. So I'm thinking, all right, Garoppolo goes down. Here comes C.J. Beathard, the backup, who, was a little shaky in the preseason, and that's a compliment calling it shaky. He put up 10 points most of the games that he started last year for us, except for the Giants game where he put up 31. The team put up 31. But for the most part, it was just 10 points. I said, you know what? Here comes ground and pound. We have the NFL's leading rushing leader. We're going to go out here with Matt Breida, and we're going to run the ball down their throats, and we're going to hit them and keep the ball out of their hands. And we didn't do it. It was like a total of 15 rushing attempts or something like that. And so I couldn't figure it out, but I think part of that is the genius of Kyle Shanahan. He's going to keep teams guessing. You think we're going to run the ball? Well, guess what? We're not. We can beat you in the air. And C.J. Beathard did a very good job of marching up and down the field. Just couldn't finish it off when he needed to. The defense even got their first pick six. And so speaking of first, we're going to continue this little thing here. We're going to get down to the prediction section because both of these teams are, again, must-win situations, right? I love and hate when I see certain stats in the game. So when I'm watching live football and they say, this kicker has made the last 29 in a row from this distance, and I'm like, oh my God, they're going to miss it. And sure enough, boom, they miss it. Well, I found out a little stat here today that gives me a lot of confidence going into this game. The 49ers have lost their last 6 games to the Arizona Cardinals. 6 in a row, 3 seasons worth of games we have lost to you guys. I think it ends here. I want to get your take on it. If you guys are going to win this game, how do you have to do it? What do you need to see from the players on the offense, defense, and maybe even special teams?
Oh, gosh. Special teams. Well, that was one of our things last week with Phil Dawson missing 2 field goals. So we need him to not miss those because the last 2 games we have lost by field goal, 1 field goal. So Josh Rosen needs to connect. So we had 5 drop passes last week. These guys can't be dropping. Larry Fitz had 2 dropped. 7 drop passes. Oh, I think PFF took away 2 because they were ridiculous. I can't remember. Anyways, so 7 drop passes, and then according to PFF, for some weird reason, actually in the stats it was 5. So those guys they have to hold on to the ball. But Josh Rosen needs to connect with David Johnson, and I'm not so sure it's going to be running. Just little over the defensive line's head. Like, I just think those, and just keep gaining ground. That's how we're going to do this. Defense, they need, well, first off, we have I think I wrote, yeah. So last offense in the whole NFL, and last week, going into last week's game, we had the 29th defense, rushing defense, 29th, and so terrible. And that was the last game. So I'm pretty sure it's probably worse now, 31-32. So we have to stop your running game. And I know that you have your backup, right, Breda, but through 4 games, he's 3rd in the NFL in rushing. So that's pretty good. Since our rush defense is terrible, he might have a record-breaking day. So we have to stop your running game. Josh Rosen has got to connect with David Johnson and just get those little bloopers to him. And our wide receivers have got to catch the ball. Phil Dawson has got to make those field goals.
All right, so that's how you guys have to win this game. And on the flip side, what the 49ers need to do is exactly what you were talking about. Take advantage of some of the mismatches and the opportunities given to them. I was watching a lot of that game with you guys, and I do a lot of research leading into, each game. I have to do a segment called Keys to Victory, where I look at the real weaknesses and strengths of what I think of the opponents are and what we have to do to capitalize. And one thing I noticed is that if the Seahawks tried to run it up the middle on you guys, your defensive line and the linebackers were actually pretty good. But when they bounced outside, that was what the big run was also for Mike Davis. So little things like that. And Kyle Shanahan has to start using that. This, I think, like you said, is going to be a good game for Matt Breida because he's got the bounce. He's the guy that can put the foot in the ground. There's nothing there, bounce outside and take off for 60 yards. He's that guy. Alfred Morris is the 1 foot in the ground, 1 cut, and that's all you're going to get. And I'm going forward. He's going to give you 3 yards, 4 yards, 2 yards, 3 yards, and then he'll get one for 7 or 8 yards in there. But we have to take advantage of that. That's the one thing on the offense. Also, C.J. Beathard. KC Beathard, he has to absolutely not turn the ball over. Okay. I know this is not something that, people are talking about with the Cardinals defense and things like that. And this is something that's very basic for every football game, but the opportunities here, these are 2 very desperate teams. Both of these teams are going to be looking to capitalize on every single opportunity. I expect to see an aggressive play calling from you guys, so we can't give you guys more opportunities. We can't turn the ball over. We can't hold on to the ball too long as a quarterback. Must get rid of it, make the proper reads. And then on the flip side, our defense has to get after Rosen. He did a lot of things really well, and whether it was the 5 or 7 drop passes, we know one thing for sure. He should have had 3 touchdown passes in that one game. And we also know that for someone to be a rookie and making his first start, he showed pretty good composure. What we have to take advantage of on defense is that he held the ball a lot for a couple of times in that game where I was like, oh, he's got to get rid of it, And, he got out of some sticky situations, but you can't do that on the road. So coming here, playing against us with the noise and everything, maybe he won't be able to get away as easily. I'm hoping that the defensive line can get some pressure on him. God knows we are not getting after the quarterback the way we were supposed to. One of the worst teams in the league, but we have to take advantage of every opportunity that we can. As far as special teams go, I really, really want to see a good day as far as the punt return game. Not just, fair catching and things like that. I want us to be able to take advantage of trying to get some coverage, things like, and, get some blocking and get a couple of return yards to flip the field position. This could very well be a game of punt, you, us punt, you punt, us punt, back and forth like that. And so field position is going to be crucial. We know Phil Dawson. Phil Dawson knows the stadium very, very well. He was one of the best kickers in the league when he was here with us. We let him go, and now here's Robbie Golden. He's now one of the best kickers in the league. So Phil Dawson's going to feel right at home. Field position is going to be huge here, and it could come down to a field goal, which is why Vegas has it as only a 4-point game for the 49ers. So that's what I'm going to leave it as. The last thing I want to ask you, and then I'm going to let you go, I promise. I need a bold prediction, and I know I'm catching you off guard with this, so I want you to think about it and everything, but I want you to give me something like not just, we're going to win the game. I don't want to hear, David Johnson's going to run for 100 yards. I mean, we just let a 100-yard rusher go. Give me something bold. Maybe, I don't know. I don't have any ideas for you, but give me something bold. I'll give you one, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
Okay, I'm going to go Rosen, 3 touchdowns, plus a field goal, because we won't get quite there, and so we'll bring the field goal team out. So 24 to 12, 11.
Oh my God!
I don't know what I'm pulling. I'm just pulling numbers out now. 3 touchdowns for Rosen.
And a good showing from your defense also, 24-11. Okay, all right, that's pretty damn bold. I was impressed with the 3 touchdowns, but 24-11. Okay, all right. So my counter to that is going to be Matt Breida has a record-breaking day. I'm going to say Matt Breida rushes for 172 yards on you guys with only 2 touchdowns. And our leading wide receiver is going to be Kendrick Bourne, not Pierre Garçon, not Marquise Goodwin, not Trent Taylor. Our leading wide receiver is going to be Kendrick Bourne. That's my bold prediction for this game. So here's hoping that the 49ers pull this thing out. Again, Sandy, thank you so much for joining us. Please let everybody know your social media pages and things like that. I know you're doing a whole lot right now. So if you even want to put your personal information, your personal social media handles out there where people can follow you, because Cardinal fans alike are going to watch this as well.
I will do that. Can I say one thing about your rushing game, which I think so? Last week, the run defense gave up 170. Ours, Cardinals, gave up 170 plus yards rushing. So that was total. But like you were saying about Davis, they gave up, and this was close to 100 off the zone read. The exact play that you were saying, 100 of those were off the zone read. So if you guys went in and watched film and got that all together, how to exploit the Cardinals, that's the way. You are 100% right. You killed it. Social media personal is SandyCharles, Sandy Charles, just at Sandy Charles. And then Cardinals FGSN, so that's at Cardinals FGSN.
The Cardinals FGSN handle is definitely in the description. So if you guys want to give Sandy a follow, make sure you do so. Just click the name there and it'll take you right to the Twitter page. But everything else is going to be what it is, guys. I can't wait to see how this game turns out on Sunday. A must-win situation for both teams. Should make for good football or really bad football. But either way, someone's got to win, right? Can it end in a tie? Who knows? But this is going to be it for our Behind Enemy Lines. Again, thank you, Sandy, for joining us. Good job on what you're working on. I wish you the best of luck. Whew. Keep busy over there. You can get back to your football game and the baseball game, and we are going to get out of here, guys. You guys know how I do it over here. Prepare for glory, anticipate pain, but always remain faithful. We're out.